The first 3 weeks of January have been completely dominated by headlines about Venezuela and Greenland, Davos, and the Trump administration effectively making a statement that the entire Western Hemisphere is under the US control. And I've heard opinions that Washington is attempting to reassert its dominance by gaining control of oil, minerals, resources, which in turn would put it in a position to challenge China's economic rise. Do you believe that that is what's driving, as many would refer to it, imperialist foreign policy, or are there any other goals that Washington is uh, pursuing here?
The United States is not trying to the word challenge China's rise at all. To do that, it would have to industrialize and be a rival of China. It's not trying to be a rival of China. It's trying to stifle China's growth. It's trying to hurt China. But it's in no position at all to challenge it because of the reasons I said. So what it's tried to do, one of the cornerstones, the probably major cornerstone of American foreign policy for a century, has been control of the oil trade. And that's because every country needs oil. You need oil to provide the electricity, to run your factories, to produce products. You need oil for transportation. You need oil to heat homes and to light the home. So the United States thought that if it can impose sanctions against the use of oil, like it's blocked German industry and European industry from buying Russian oil and gas, the oil industry includes the gas industry, then it can stifle their growth. Well, how are you in a position to say we're going to turn off the lights of any country that whose growth we want to stifle because they're looking for their own growth, not that of the United States? Well, you need to stop other countries from producing oil that is not controlled by the United States. You have to stop Venezuela from selling its oil to China or Russia or Cuba. And more than you have to make sure that countries that do produce oil, like uh, Saudi Arabia and the Arab countries, send all their oil rents to the United States so that the United States ends up with a beneficiary. You do not want Iran to be able to sell oil because it would use it for its own development. And you don't want Libya, where Continental Oil had facilities for a long time, to develop its oil and invested in gold to create a gold-based African currency because that would be a rival to the dollar. So the United States uses oil as a means to control the world trade. And the United States doesn't have to actually own the oil resources. All it has to do is control the oil marketing of the oil to prevent countries from selling oil to other countries that are deemed America's enemies instead of its allies. So this ability to control the marketing of oil and the proceeds of oil, where are the economic rents, the natural resource rents of oil invested? They all have to be sent back to the United States Center for the whole thing. So that's really what all of this fight over Venezuela is. And the myth is that this is the Monroe Doctrine, but it's not the original Monroe Doctrine. The agreement that the United States made right after the War of 1812 and an expansion of European bank lending to the newly independent Latin American countries that had won their independence and had to borrow money in order to try to finance their recovery after the destruction that colonialism had caused. The United States said, you stay out of our territory, we'll stay out of your territory. But the United States has no intention of staying out of the Eastern Hemisphere's territory. We have the Western Hemisphere, but we also have the Eastern Hemisphere. That's why we have so much of our military spending all surrounding Russia and China and other Asian countries and the South Pacific. So it's just the already in 1898, when America waged the Spanish-American War, the American president said, "Well, our manifest destiny is to move across the Pacific, and so we have to take control of the Philippines." In order to be able to control the trade with East Asian, and we have to seize Hawaii and Guam as refueling stations for our Navy, on the way. So that already they extended the Monroe Doctrine to cover the Pacific Ocean and increasingly to the Atlantic Ocean as well, basically through NATO that expands all to Europe. So the United States is really the only sphere of influence in the world. What the National Security Council report last December came out with, it really says, well, there are going to be five spheres of influence. The United States, okay. There's Russia and China, okay. There are designated enemies. And then India and Japan. Well, Japan is sort of a proxy state of the a satellite of the United States. It's not an independent currency, a political area. And India is sort of the wild card in this. And Trump was believing, and certainly the Trump administration had said India doesn't have a choice; it needs the American market. But then you had Prime Minister Modi come out and say, "Well, we really need Russian oil because our economy needs oil to fuel our industry, and so we're solving the military conflict that we've had with China and the Himalayas. We're really going to turn towards Russia and China, and now Modi in India are the head of this year's BRICS meeting. So Trump is essentially by overreaching his power grab for the United States, he's driven other countries to the opposite extreme. This is the blowback that he's creating, and almost everything that Trump does creates an opposite reaction, not only a revulsion, but a desire to say, well, we've got to break away and be independent because otherwise Trump is going to continue to try to disrupt our economy by preventing us from buying energy, preventing us from buying anything we need, like access to the American market for our exports. We're going to find new markets for exports. Well, that's what Canada did recently by saying, okay, we're now going to, Carney went to China. He said, all right, we're going to export agricultural products to you. We can export oil to you. We'll import your electronic vehicles and cars that are so much cheaper that I don't think anyone's going to buy American cars anymore, or even German cars. So it's just amazing to see, almost like a Greek tragedy, the tragic hero bringing about exactly the opposite of what he'd hoped to do. Not to characterize Trump as a tragic hero, but tragic, well, pick up the noun that you think would be appropriate.